I'm actually really good to ask questions of because I have ADD, so I will answer them completely honestly. And then so, oh no, I said that. Yeah. Oh, over here, up here.
On your second slide, there was a device which can diagnose like ear infection or retinal infection. But when it comes to visible things, the device can detect the visible things. But how it works when it comes to the internal parts like ear infection or middle ear infection?
Right. Then you need to do something else.
Need to do something else.
This is just for some of the initial diagnoses. And there are many things you can do just by looking at the eardrum. And there are many things you can do with the retina. Often also, if you are, once someone has seen a doctor and then they go home, you can watch whether the disease is getting better. So for an ear infection, if you give antibiotics, you can see from the exterior whether it's actually helping. So it's just not diagnosis, but also monitoring, right? But you're absolutely right. You cannot diagnose or know the ear infection entirely from just a picture.
Thank you.
That's a good question. Come on, you can ask me anything. You can ask me about Berkeley. You can ask me what I think about Bouet versus Bangladesh University. I would prefer if you didn't ask me about Trump, because he's just an embarrassment. And I hear far too much about him all the time. As you can tell, I'm a very stiff professor.
Tell us something about your Berkeley.
Okay, so University of California, Berkeley is the oldest university in California. It's a land grant school, so the land was given to it in the 1850s. It is one of the oldest, biggest public schools in California. What is really fun about being there, it's usually ranked in the top 5 of schools internationally. And our engineering program right now is ranked #1 internationally.
Sir, in your presentation, you showed a slide that device of a biosensor which detect the liver damage. I want to know how does it work?
Oh, sure, that's a good question.
And my last question is, you showed bacteria's slide. What's the name of this bacteria?
It looked actually like an E. coli to me, but I'm not sure. It's actually a video I got from a friend of mine, and it's very old, so I haven't chased that down. But I bet you it's an E. coli.
I'm basically CSE background student, and I have worked with app and image processing, video processing. So I need to help and need to know that if I want to do a video processing on your virus movement, how can I help from you?
If you want to move from, I mean, there's all this need for doing apps and doing video processing, and there's all sorts of capabilities. And the question was, can I find someone to help him do more research in this area? There's not much I can do about that now, because we work mainly with graduate students. But what I will try and do, I'm going to try and see whether I can get Dan to do a CellScope project. Maybe not in Bangladesh, but close by, and see whether he needs help with that project, right? So that would be a project in this area, and see whether we can get you involved somehow. Okay?
I want to add one more thing. We have a MOU with UC Berkeley, right? So our students can help with another MOU.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out more how to connect better. Right now, it's sort of connection through me. And unfortunately, I'm internet challenged at times, so if I get too many emails, I get confused. But we're trying to figure out ways of having it, but I can try many different.
I think your supervision is good enough for now.
Yeah, but you can try and contact me, and I will try and give you advice. Okay?
I think the way, may I just say
Yes.
I think the way it would work. So you have one issue, you need some technical guidance. The other question is how can I get into UC Berkeley? So I think this MOU that we have with UC Berkeley and Bouet and Bangladesh University, and then also Startup Bangladesh, if we come up with a structured program of how we can assist, somebody like you who needs some guidance, then we will go through that program, right? It's not going to be just one person's specific. So আমি যেভাবে দেখতে পাচ্ছি যে বাংলাদেশ ইউনিভার্সিটিতে একটা কন্টাক্ট পারসন থাকবে, তাই না? এবং সেটা আমরা whoever that is এবং সেই প্রসেসটা কিভাবে হবে সেটা আমরা ফিগার আউট করবো, and then we will connect it to UC Berkeley যে প্রোগ্রাম আছে সেটা একটা ফর্মাল স্ট্রাকচার আছে।
That will help me because otherwise I'll just get a zillion emails and I'll lose them. That's the problem. So we're trying to figure, this is new, right? This has sort of been put together. This is my first trip here. I'm hoping to come back, but right now it's my first trip.
From the audience perspective, I have a question. Back in 2010, I had a proposal to my PhD supervisor. The proposal was personalized information system for aged healthcare, aged care. So in abroad, what happens is the aged people, they go to the aged care and they leave alone. So if suddenly they become senseless or something, we don't really get any information whether they become senseless or not. So I was thinking to propose a wearable device, to give them a wearable device that will give us a pulse information. If we miss that pulse information for some time, we can connect and try and connect and see what happened to that person. So if we, I'm not sure whether you like the idea or not, but similar idea if we propose it through our ICT ministry, can you get any help or mentoring from your end? Mentoring, just the mentoring and guidance.
I think that's a really good idea. For a while, we had some faculty working on fall sensors. And I think that's also a good, there's the worry of when people fall. It turns out falling was hard to tell because it's hard to identify a fall from like an accelerometer, but clearly the pulse would matter. I think you could do it. The hard part, I think what we have to really solve there is if you wear a smartwatch and do the pulse, it's really tight.
Not the watch, maybe a device or something
Yeah,
like
so we
that.
have to work on that because people try the watch
Yes.
and they hate having a really tight watch. So then they don't wear it or they don't use it. So yes, I think the idea of watching things like pulse, because you can also do all sorts of analysis with the pulse. You can do heart rate variability, which also indicates disease. So I think that's a great idea. And I think this idea that nowadays you can give people devices that connect in through Bluetooth to a phone and then transmit the data is really, that's sort of new and it's very, very valuable. I think it's a very good idea.
Need your mentoring and guidance.
Yeah,
for
I'll
that.
certainly write a letter of support for you too.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any more question, please? Thank you.
Wow, you even have a white coat on.
We are pharmacy background student.
Yeah.
If our student want to migration your university, is it possible? Or credit transfer your university, is it possible?
Yeah, I think it is possible to get to an American university or to get to use. We don't have pharmacy, but UCSF, the University of California, San Francisco does. UC Davis, pharmacy is often handled in our medical schools, but I think it is possible. I think that's what we're trying to set up now. Unfortunately, I think the medical schools are a little bit farther away right now for us because I'm not at a medical school, but that's one of our goals with this whole program, is to try and increase the flow of students from Bangladesh into American universities. That's sort of our goal.
Yes, sir, Father. I'm working as an assistant professor in CSC department. I have a question for you that what are the latest invention in bioengineering that you are working with in your university?
There's so many. I mean, we recently came up with a new drug delivery system for CRISPR-Cas9 delivery. One of mine is a little new pill that's a jet pill for delivering proteins. Actually, we're delivering vaccines to the cheek with it. So drug delivery is something I work on. We're working on new sensors based on graphene. That's sort of my lab. I think there are a lot of other things that are. I have a small lab.
Thanks. I think we've had a lot of questions, and if you have any more questions, you can send it in our email. We have an email address, innovation@bou.edu.bd. And if you send us the email with the questions, we can send it to our guest, Mr. Dorian. And with that, I would like to conclude our program today. And I'd
I'd like to thank all of you, and special thanks to our honorable guest, Mr. Dorian Lipman, for his wonderful speech and experience that he shared with us, and also our Tina Madam. She also showed you some hope and opportunity to work with, and we'll definitely submit some ideas to the ICT Ministry. Hopefully, we'll get through those ideas, and our innovation lab will be more focused with their research and innovations. And I would like to thank our Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir for his presence in this program, and also for his time and organizing the event. And a special thanks to our Sadiq Iqbal Sir as well. And we'll have a small photo session with all the students first. And after that, the faculty take some photographs. So first one with the students.
আচ্ছা তুলে ফেলেন চিন্তা করলাম নেই